What's up, guys? Welcome back. Superbike Angel, ready to do another video, and this one I wanted to do something different, comparing two different brands. Essentially got the Ducati SP2 916 and the MV Agusta Nurburgring Brutale 1000. Two different bikes. Obviously we have a naked bike and we have a superbike, but I think it's going to be a very interesting comparison because these two bikes actually do have a lot of similarities. So let's get to it. All right, so why are we comparing two very different bikes? Well, the reason being is these are the bikes that I have, so that's what we get to compare. But also these two bikes have a lot of similarities, like I said earlier. Both of these bikes are priced right about the same, $45,900 for the Ducati SP2 and the MV Agusta. Even though this was a 2022 model, when this bike was new, it was priced at $44,500 or $44,900. So they're about $1,000 apart. So very similar price range there. Then when you look at the actual specs, we have a 1100cc bike producing 210 horsepower with the Ducati versus the MV Agusta. It's a 998cc, but also producing 208 horsepower. So the power output very similar. And stock configuration. With the Ducati having the race exhaust and the race ECU, I think it's about 225 horsepower or so. Same thing with the MV. This one is equipped with the Aero race exhaust, also has the race ECU, and it's producing about 215 to about 220 horsepower or so. Again, very similar horsepower output there. Now, when you look at the actual specs, dry weight on the Ducati, we're talking about 380 pounds dry weight versus 390 pounds on the MV. Very close there. And when you're looking at the different components, you got Brembos on the Ducati, all-ins front and back. Same thing on the MV. Brembos front and back, all-ins front and back as well. Now, take a look at the wheels. Ducati comes with carbon BST wheels right there, and if you look at the MV, same exact, not exact wheel, but same exact BST carbon wheels. This one's hard to say in this light, but these are brown gloss carbon versus the dry carbon look that the BSTs come on the Ducati. So both of these bikes are essentially representing the top tier of models that each brand is essentially has in the lineup right now. As I said, this is the 2024. The MV is the 2022, but at the time was pretty much the top tier bike that they have. Even until recently, I think last week is that MV released their new SV 1000 Oro, which will probably be more direct comparison to the Ducati, but that's a $72,000 bike. So, you know, price range, not in the same range at all. All right, that's enough technical talk. Let's get suited up and we'll take each bike out on a quick ride and do a ride comparison, see what each bike is all about. We'll compare the sound and how the bikes feel. Let's go. All right, let's take the Ducati first. It's all gassed up, we're all suited and booted. Let's get ready to go. Always like this. Racing Pro, number 110 out of 500, super cool. We'll go grab a quick lunch and enjoy the Ducati first. Then we'll come back and jump on the MV. That way we get back-to-back comparisons of the two bikes. I mean, honestly, you can't really go wrong with either bike, you know. That's why it's good to have both of them. bit more aggressive setting. Just like that. Instant adrenaline rush. I mean, just getting on the freeway on this thing is absolutely insane. The power delivery is on a whole different level, and again, making 220 horsepower, it's expected. At the same time, it's a very comfortable bike to ride, you know. I would say the best part of this particular bike, the best thing out of this whole package is it's got to be the electronics. That Ducati did an amazing job with this bike, you know. Having the fact that you have wheelie control, traction control, you know, ABS, engine braking. I mean, you can set this bike in so many different ways for so many different use applications that it's, you know, it fits anybody's needs. Obviously, it's a race bike through and through, but you can still enjoy it on the street as much as any other bike. Handles absolutely amazing. Feels so light. I love it. I love it. I mean, there's not a one bad thing that I can think of, or a negative thing. I wouldn't say bad thing, but a negative thing from the whole bike. Most exhilarating thing is obviously the power. The power, the sound, the dry clutch, the race exhaust, the way it sounds, it's fantastic. Downshifts, so crisp. The brakes are absolutely amazing. You got the Brembo MCS front and back. Absolutely mind-blowing every single time I ride this bike. Just love it more and more. You see when you switch to the MV, the noise or the sound of the MV, the exhaust is so much more louder. I mean, this is not a quiet bike by any means. Like I say, it has the race exhaust. It still has the baffles inside, but I think because the exhaust essentially is placed behind the tail, when you're riding the bike, it's not obnoxiously loud. Completely different with the MV. That bike, you have to ride it with earplugs almost. And we'll do a side-by-side comparison of the exhaust so you guys can hear them. You guys can hear the dry clutch. Pull the clutch, open, and then you hear the exhaust. I mean, the note of the exhaust it's so nice. Full like titanium Akrapovic.
It should sound now, being how expensive it is. I mean, we're talking about with installation and everything, it's almost $12,000 just for the exhaust on this bike, which is absolutely insane. I mean, I remember back in the days I used to buy bikes for less than that. But it's worth every penny. Stay there. See if we can find a parking spot now. We'll grab some lunch. Sunday, we got perfect weather. All right, we got some spots here. Perfect. There we go. Just the look of it, aesthetically, I mean, the guy knocked it out of the park. Being that it's essentially, as of right now, the last single-sided swing arm bike. Given that the new Panigale is going to have a double swing arm, I'm super pumped that I got this bike and that I got the exhaust. It just looks so nice from every single angle. Absolutely love it. The colors, the livery with the whole 916, you got the Italian flag, #1 on the front. The wings are not too aggressive. You know, I love the Superleggera, but I feel like the wings on that bike are so much. Obviously, that's a MotoGP inspired bike, but I think this one's, like I said, it's one of my favorite bikes that Ducati has made. Whole package, carbon wheels, dry clutch, everything. All right, let's get some lunch. When we come back, we'll jump on the MV. Stay tuned for that. Alright guys, up next we got the MV Agusta Brutale Nurburgring. We're done with the Ducati for now, so let's jump on the MV and take it for a spin so we can see what the difference is between the Ducati and this bike. Bike is already nice and warmed up. Let's get it going. One of my favorite bikes for sure. As you guys can probably tell, huge fan of MV Agusta. I've been a fan of them for a very long time. The sound that this bike makes is absolutely amazing, nothing like it. As you can see, this thing loves to do wheelies. I mean, first gear, second gear, the front wheel just wants to come up all the time. It's such a, I don't even know how to describe it, the feeling. It's such a hooligan, the best way to describe it as a bike. I mean, obviously it's a naked bike, Street Fighter style, but really this really is a super bike without any fairings. Even if you guys look at the way the handlebars are compared to most naked bikes, they're still pretty low, so you're still leaning forward a decent amount, and that's engine without exhaust making 250 horsepower. These are literally Superbike numbers, you know, out of a 998 cc engine. It's an absolutely insane package. Let's go, green light. Just like that. The acceleration is so insane. that you literally have to hold on for dear life to the handlebars. The first time I jumped on this bike, I was almost scared because it gives you such a, you know, unpredictable feeling, like, oh, I'm on a naked bike, it's not going to be that fast. And as soon as you twist the throttle, your body absolutely jerks back immediately, so you really have to hold on, almost for dear life. But it's so much fun. Second gear, 7,000 RPMs. Just the sounds that exhaust makes is, I would dare to say there's no other bike that sounds like it. You know. It is kind of obnoxious because it's such a loud bike, but I absolutely love it. Wouldn't have it any other way. Now, as far as comparing it to the Ducati, it's a very different feeling, obviously. At the end of the day, it's still a naked bike. So when it comes to like top speed and stuff like that, obviously the Ducati provides better aerodynamics. But you know, don't be fooled. This bike is going to do easily 185, 190, maybe even 200 miles, which is absolutely insane for a naked bike. And honestly, if I had to pick, let's say if you say like, hey, you can only have one bike, would it be this one or the Ducati? It's such a hard choice to pick only one, because at the end of the day, both bikes are absolutely amazing and they provide incredible amount of fun, adrenaline, but they kind of get you there in a different way. It's hard not to want to ride this bike hard, just because of the acceleration, just because of the sounds. It is a very comfortable bike. You know, I would say it's probably easier to ride around town and stuff like that compared to the Ducati. It doesn't get as hot in a stop and go traffic as the Ducati. That's why it's easier to ride, obviously. I mean, it's a naked bike, so it gets more ventilation. So from that standpoint, differs from the Ducati. But you know, the Ducati also gives you that feeling that this bike, that, you know, it's a different feeling, different type of ride that both bikes provide. But again, I think I said, at the end of the day, they get you to the same level of excitement, the same level of adrenaline, the same level of fun. They just get there in a different way. Both bikes, that's probably ideal. That way, for the days that you want to ride a naked bike, you have this, and if you wanted to ride, you know, a true superbike like the Ducati, you have that option as well. Shut up for a second just so you guys can hear the exhaust. The downshifts are so crispy. You know, you get the pops, you get the backfire. all the cool stuff that you want to have with a bike like this. Pull over there at the end of the road, just so you guys can hear the exhaust. I'll give you guys a couple of revs. Having fun here. Look at all the tire marks. Definitely somebody was enjoying their time. Alright, let's park it here for a second and we'll give it a couple of revs just so you guys, as I said earlier, this bike has the Aero race exhaust with the race ECU. I mean, essentially it's almost a straight pipe. Insane. Carbon wheels look so nice. Brown carbon once the sun hits it. The silver, the carbon, the exposed carbon, the MV, the red. I mean, it looks so nice. I think MV absolutely knocked it out of the park. Everything is carbon fiber. You know, you got the engine covers, all that stuff. Front. I mean, they really did an amazing job with this bike. And again, it's only 150 of them made. So here we go. Absolutely insane. Alright, that wraps it up for the MV. Alright, for sound picks, next we got the Ducati. This one's got the Akrapovic race exhaust with the race ECU under the tail. Obviously this one sounds pretty nice as well. This one does still have the baffles inside, and I'm keeping those because for performance wise, dealership said it's better just to keep them, and it's a little bit obviously not as loud because of the baffles, but it's still pretty amazing. Give it a little listen. Yep, that's the Ducati. I love that sound as well. Got the dry clutch, got the exhaust. Unbelievable package. Alright, so in conclusion, it's almost impossible to say which one's better, this one or this one. I mean, both bikes provide such a high level of fun, adrenaline, intensity. They're truly, you know, very similar bikes, but they're built for two different things. This is truly a sports bike, a super bike. It's built to go fast, where on this one, it's a super bike, but without all the fairings. Essentially, it's a naked super bike that is also made for, I would say, more of a daily use. It's much more user-friendly in all environments versus this one. Like I said, it's truly made to go fast, and there's probably no other bike like it. Where with this one, it still provides probably 8 or 9/10 of what this bike does when it goes fast, but it also gives you the ability to just enjoy it while you're going slow, you know, through traffic, stop and go. It doesn't get as hot, but at the same time, again, it's mind-blowing the amount of performance you get from this kind of bike. At the end of the day, it is a naked bike, but it does provide you with 215 horsepower. So that's why I say it's absolutely mind-blowing what this bike does. So that's why it's absolutely impossible to say this one's better or this one's better. In my opinion, you just got to have both of them. Love Ducati, love MV. If you can get both of them, you got to do it. Stay tuned for next video. Thank you.